Okay, so welcome to the first Ansible Operator community meeting. I'm Austin McDonald, and I'm on the Operator Sdk team. And can y'all see my screen?
I can, yes.
Excellent. Okay, so you can see here that we've got the attendees list. Please add your name. And while you're doing that, let's go through the new faces, which is literally all of us today. So yeah, like I said, I'm Austin. I'm on the Operator Sdk team, and I've been focusing on Ansible operators a lot and community building and things like that. So I'm really pumped for this new meeting today. Someone else want to go, or shall I call people out?
Sure, I can hop in, Austin. I'm Tim Apnell. I'm a product manager on the Ansible team. I've been involved in the Ansible community for a very, very long time. And I've been helping coordinate what's happening with the Ansible Operator Sdk from the Ansible side over to the Operator Framework project. And I too am really looking forward to this because I love feedback, and I'm really happy to see a lot of names I don't recognize here. So that's me. All right, Austin, you may have to start calling names out.
Yeah, we'll just do it.
Oh, I can go.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Fabian von Feilich. I've been involved with Ansible and sorry for the dogs, Kubernetes ecosystem for quite a while. I was involved in writing the Kubernetes Ansible modules, Kubernetes and OpenShift Python clients, and I worked primarily on the Ansible operator for the last 2 years or so.
All right, so I'm just going to go on down the list. And if you don't want to, that's cool. So I'm not even going to try to pronounce everyone's name. Catherine? I'm sorry. I think I heard you say something.
Hi, sorry, I thought I was on mute. Hi, I work with the IBM Dashboard Cloud Foundation team. Primarily, we've been working on Ansible Operator to deploy the dashboard on cloud. Thanks for having me here.
Cool, thank you. Douglas? You may be muted, but we'll come back to you at the end. Fabricio?
So hi, my name is Fabricio. I'm from the POP team on the Red Hat, and I've been recently working on the POP operator. And yeah, I'm just curious and about these meetings and how much can I learn from here.
That's awesome. I'm hoping this will be a great learning environment for everyone.
Okay, I'm muted now. Do you want me to say something?
Yeah, go for it.
Oh yeah, hi. Doug Brush. I work for 71 Tech. I'm new to Ansible, but I'm learning it, and I think this is a good group for me to see because you're all pretty smarter than me. So that's a good place for me to be.
Cool.
Yep.
All right, Greg.
Hey, my name is Greg Lantier. I work with Kat, Catherine, doing Ansible Operator Sdk-based deployment of some IBM Cloud workloads. Yeah, I'm just going to lurk and see what I can learn and ask some silly questions.
Silly questions are very welcome here.
Yes.
Ish?
Hey, I'm Ish Shah. I work on the SDK team at Red Hat. I primarily work on scorecard stuff, and yeah, would love to hear more about testing Ansible operators, stuff like that. Any yeah, whatever.
Jesus.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jesus Rodriguez, team lead on the Operator Sdk. Been working with Kubernetes operators, Go, Java. I'm also leading the Java efforts with the middleware folks. So there is also another community meeting for the Java folks, just like this one. So if you're interested in that, those are Thursday at 11 Eastern. That's it from me.
Yeah, and just so everyone is aware, all of the meetings for the Operator SDK and the various working groups are listed on the Operator Framework community page. So check that out if there's other meetings you might be interested in. Jonathan?
Hi, my name is Jonathan Berkhan. I work for IBM, and I'm a contributor to the Operator SDK. It's nice to meet you all. I'm honestly pleasantly surprised at how many new faces are here. Like, this is pretty good.
It's amazing, actually. Yeah, it's fantastic. Mark?
Hey guys, I'm Mark O'Brien, Operator SDK Manager with Red Hat, and excited that we're seeing a lot of folks and new faces on this call. Excited to continue that conversation and interested in what everybody has to say.
All right, Mike Graves.
Hi, I'm Mike Graves. I work for Red Hat on the Ansible side of things, and I am primarily responsible for maintaining the Kubernetes Core and the Red Hat OpenShift collections.
Fantastic. Next, we've got Ryan King. We almost made it through the meeting without two people with the same name.
Hey guys, I'm Ryan King. I'm a new to Operator SDK, new to Red Hat. Came from the Istio world, and yeah, just here to learn all about Ansible and all that kind of fun stuff.
Okay, Ryan Levere.
Hi, Ryan Levere. I work with Doug Brush. Just stumbled across the meeting announcement earlier today and just thought it would be a good meeting to sit in and just try and learn some new things. So appreciate it. Thank you.
Let's see, Tony.
Hey everyone, Tony Wu here. I'm a product manager on the Red Hat side for the Operator SDK, primarily working with team and figuring out the for this group is figuring out the Ansible roadmap for the Ansible SDK. Happy to see all the known name here, so it's great. So that also working with Nancy and Joe for the IBM Cloudpack side to basically spread out the roadmap for the Ansible Operator SDK. Yep, great to be here.
Okay. Varsha's next.
Hi all, Varsha here. I am a contributor with Operator SDK. I have worked a bit with Ansible code base, but not dive deep into it. Happy to be here and learn. Thank you all.
All right, and I think we've got one more. Melvin.
Can you all hear me?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so Melvin Hilsman, work at Red Hat on the operator enablement team. We've got a whole bunch of stuff that we changed over to, but basically we just help folks with operators, help build and maintain, train, and just here to see what's going
on. Attila.
Hi guys.
Hello.
We're doing introductions. I think I don't know if Attila he wasn't there when we said that. So
yeah.
The reason he called on you is because we're doing. You just hopped on right at the end of introductions.
Welcome to the meeting. Would you like to present?
No, sorry, I was late. I've just joined now, so yeah.
No worries.
I'm Attila, working on the Java Operator SDK, and just joining here also to get some knowledge from this meeting too.
Awesome. So, just to set the tone for this meeting, I think this should be pretty relaxed. And if you do have to come late, feel free. Don't worry about interrupting anything. Always feel free to ask questions and, call somebody out if they're using acronyms you don't know, anything like that. So I'm personally very excited to see everybody. So I guess let's go ahead and get started. So the first, so we'll be following this agenda for at least today. This agenda comes from very closely copied from the Java meetings, which seem to be going very well. So we're going to just follow that same pattern. But again, this venue is for all of us. So if anything isn't working, feel free to call it out and we can try something else. So I guess the first thing that I wanted to talk about is this meeting time fine, or is it just awful for some reason?
Should we chime in or pass like a thing in chat?
Yeah, either one. I'll take silence as this is fine, but I assume this is fine for everyone who's here.
If the time wasn't fine, wouldn't they not be here?
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, we've got a bit of a selection bias going on.
Or we're geniuses.
Yeah.
Kind of like raise your hand if you're not present.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we'll come back to this one on the asynchronous bullet. So the second one is, should we have a separate meeting for triage? So this has been, we've talked about both ways, just having one meeting where we talk about community stuff and then do issue triage, or we have a community meeting and regular issue triages separately from that. Anyone have thoughts?
I have a
guess
thought.
Oh, go ahead. You first.
Okay. Yes.
So now that we've moved stuff out into a separate repo, yes, theoretically we are going to be getting issues there. I think it remains to be seen how active like that's going to be in comparison to the main operator SDK repo. Like I don't know if like, assuming that like the amount of traffic we get is roughly the same as the number of Ansible issues we get now. Like I don't know how much there's going to be to sustain like a separate triage meeting every week that's just that stuff.
Yeah, that seems reasonable. I mean, we don't have to also stop triaging Ansible stuff in the operator SDK meeting. So what we can do is triage.
Just for the record, there's not been a repo split yet.
Oh yeah.
Oh right. Sorry, I'm thinking of. Yep, got it.
Someday soon, maybe, we hope.
Yeah.
But so if we
the projects that fall under the concern of this meeting do include sort of broader Kubernetes integration with operator framework and with Kubernetes.
Right.
That's
yeah, that is one of the things I wanted to put out there is that when we organized this meeting, we talked about also using this to talk about the Kubernetes Core collection that Mike Graves is working on as an extension of it, since the operator SDK does use that content, but it also has a life outside of the operator framework. This could be a forum for even discussing those issues away from the operator framework. So
yeah, this is sort of a joint working group.
Yeah. So just put that out there for everyone, just so we're clear. It doesn't have to be limited exclusively to the operator framework, but it should be Ansible and Kubernetes with the operator framework being a big focus of that. I think maybe this is one we'll have to see as we start to progress at the sound of it is if we find that people, attendees are wanting to talk about specific issues, to have a separate meeting for that and engage it based on the frequency of these tickets or these issues.
Cool. Well, it sounds to me like we can play it by ear and just do what we need to and change as we as the situation does. So that
Yeah.
sounds good to me. Okay, so the next topic, this one I think we should take some time to talk about is how should this group communicate asynchronously? Because this is a combined working group of Ansible folks who have their own Ansible Slack and Kubernetes folks who are on Kubernetes Slack and Red Hat folks who are on Red Hat Slack, etc. Well, I think it would be best if we find a single venue that we can all agree to use together for the most part. You know, all those other channels are still going to be fine, but it would be best to have a central place. So I listed a few ideas here. If you have a preference, +1 it, even if it's just a slight preference. And I'd love to hear other ideas or thoughts, anything.
I guess for the Ansible folks, there already is an IRC channel in Libra.chat for Kubernetes, right? Or for Ansible
Yes.
and Kubernetes.
Yeah, there is.
Would you mind just posting the name of that down there so that people can join
Yeah.
on that one if they want to?
And you said that's an IRC?
Yep.
Okay, well, if since there's a lot of, it seems like the Kubernetes folks have a tendency to be on Slack. Fabricio, I noticed that Pulp is using Matrix as an IRC Slack bridge. I haven't really dug into it, but that seems like it could be an option for us. What do you think?
Yeah, we do use Matrix and it is bridged to Libera also, but the bridge like doesn't work so well. So sometimes we lost some messages.
Oh, that's a bummer. Okay. I could also wanted to talk about GitHub Discussions just a moment. So GitHub Discussions is interesting because it's basically like a mailing list mixed with a Stack Overflow, and you can convert discussions into email or into issues themselves. So it's a pretty powerful tool, but it is repo based, and currently Ansible Operator is part of the Operator Sdk repo, so we couldn't enable this GitHub Discussions just yet for that. So it seems like so far the most love is a new mailing list. Is anyone against that?
We had the same conversation in the Java side, and we ultimately settled on just using the operator framework one for operators, at least to start and see what traction that has. And if that became too noisy, then we said we would probably consider a separate one. So that was just another data point. I don't know.
Yeah, this one might be a little bit different because it's got a slightly broader focus because it's looking at, because we use the like Ansible modules and things like that, it's also going to be focused on just general Ansible Kubernetes things that, you know, obviously impact operator authors, but in like a one step removed kind of way. So a lot of those discussions might not really be on topic for the broader operator framework.
That's fair. I just throwing out the other data.
Yeah,
totally.
Yeah.
I am not opposed to whatever the community decides. So.
All right, well, this isn't a strong consensus, but it could be a lazy consensus. I think maybe we're coalescing on a new mailing list. If we do decide to do that, I can take that as an action item and create that list before the next meeting, or I can do it today, actually.
Okay. Do we have a preference on the name, since it's more than like my initial reaction is something like Ansible Operator Sdk, but since this is a broader that has a broader scope? Is it something more like Ansible Kubernetes, or I don't know. I just thought maybe before you go and create something, Austin, and since naming is every engineer's favorite topic, maybe a minute of what to call the list.
All right, so for naming things, instead of, yeah, it's how about for the next minute, every name you can think of, just type it here. Go.
Sorry, what was that? I zoned out. Oh, names. Okay.
The name for the mailing list.
Yep, I'll add that. I like naming.
And feel free to toss out +1s.
I need to work in the obscure Greek boating terms angle.
Oh, please do explore that. Oh, so this, I guess this is an interesting subtopic here. Is this going to be a mailing list for Ansible Operator users and developers, or just developers, or just users?
My normal impulse is to start with a combined list, and if one begins.
You got cut out for me. I
Yeah.
heard you say start with a combined list, and then that was the last thing I heard.
Oh, okay. Start with a combined list, and if one overwhelms the other, then fork it.
Yep, I think that sounds good. Emailer netties for the win. Another thing we can think about while we're chewing on cool names is the other Operator SDK or the Operator Framework mailing lists are done through Google Groups. I want this to be inclusive. So if somebody doesn't have a Google group, let me know now, and maybe we can look at a different way of creating this list.
Do any of the Kate SIGs use things other than Google Group?
Not that I know of.
Huh.
Ooh, do we have an Operables logo we can toss somewhere? I should have put that in the doc.
I have one. I have to dig it out of my drive, but I have one for sure.
For everybody who didn't know, Ansible Operators actually have a fantastic logo. Who designed it again, Tim? He did
Tafik.
Tafik.
Yeah, he's one of our UX people, and he's also a really great illustrator. A couple years ago, he and I brainstormed and came up with this mascot that we dubbed the Operable, and there's a whole backstory to that. I don't know if while everyone's filling in names, I can tell the little story, but probably make more sense if you could see it. And I can find it real quick. I have it out.
Okay, so it looks like we've got, let's call it 3 finalists, Ansible Kates, Ansible Kates Operator, and Ansible Operator SDK. So before we return to this, I want to talk a little bit about Ansible Operator SDK. I think that's maybe not the direction we want to go, because I think this could be broader than just the SDK, since we're doing the Kubernetes Core stuff as well. So would anyone be opposed to a runoff vote between Ansible Kates and Ansible Kates Operator? I'll create a new thing here.
Looks like Emailer Netties has a +10 though.
It's true.
Did you want to clear the votes? Okay.
Yeah, I need to clear the
Never
votes
mind.
first. Okay,
Sorry.
go. Now go.
How many votes do we get? Just one?
Unless you're sneaky. Okay. Last chance. Seems like we have a pretty clear winner. Any of the Ansible Kates folks upset about that? Want to make a final argument? All right. I think we're sold.
Yep.
I didn't wait very long though. One more chance. Okay. Very good. So that's what we'll do. I'll set that as an action item for myself. What'd you do, Jesus? I missed it.
He just tossed a minus 10.
I put a minus 10 to negate all the values.
Well done. Well done. That's
Austin, I posted a link to a tweet I put out with the operable if you want to just quick show those of people that haven't seen it.
Where did in the chat?
Yeah, it's a tweet that I did when we came up with it.
Oh, I'm totally ignoring the chat. Please
no, it's
stop
fine.
me if
There's-
I'm missing something.
There hasn't been a lot that hasn't been said here, but I just thought for anyone that, yeah, so this is the mascot that we have. The quick backstory is that Ansible was founded in Durham, North Carolina, which is known as the city of bulls. So we always use a bull as the mascot for Ansible. And then I was trying to think of a mascot, and I talked to this guy Tafik, and the play on words of an operator, operable, came up to work the word bull in. So then we started working with a bull that was an opera singer, and we looked at like pictures of Elmer Fudd in that what's opera doc, and then he came up also with the idea of also Adam Sandler's Opera Man, hence the cape. And he worked in then the logo of the operator framework into his necklace, and put, and the horns come from the Elmer Fudd thing. So anyway, this is the background, and we came up with this whole character, and then you'll see stickers and stuff floating around at different events. We just had them at KubeCon, again, very popular. So anyway, that's the backstory of the operable here that you see. So that's Beautiful. It. I'll stop there.
I love this logo. It's so funny.
Yeah. Think of them as a mascot. So yeah. Okay. Well, that was a fun diversion. So we got a mailing list done, and we actually got naming done pretty painlessly.
Yeah, I can't believe that worked.
Wow.
Okay, so the next agenda item is project updates as time allows, and I think time allows.
Yes. So for this is one I put in there, though I volunteered some other people. I thought for people that haven't been as involved, that we could talk a little bit about the things that are being worked on by some of the people on this call. So the first item I tagged Fabian to just talk a little bit about the things that are in the works for the next couple months on the Operator SDK and the Operator SDK Utils collection, which is there to support the SDK.
Yeah, maybe we can start off with like a summary of what each of those projects are, in case anyone here doesn't already know.
Okay.
Yeah, totally. So the Ansible operator is basically just a way that you can write operators, which are basically little Kubernetes controllers that generally reconcile a custom resource in the cluster. So you can make a resource representing your application. When someone creates that resource in the Kubernetes cluster, your operator would get an event, and then you can write a bunch of Ansible to handle what happens when you see those events coming in. So go in, create the deployments, the pods, do health checks, services, whatever is needed to deploy and maintain the application. And then Once those resources are deployed into the cluster, the Ansible-based operator will then watch all the deployed resources, and if they change, it'll re-trigger reconciliation. So you can basically, if a pod goes unhealthy, your operator can react to it. And Operator Sdk util is an Ansible collection that has a couple modules that make doing certain things that are kind of specific to Ansible, to operator authors easier. Currently, those are, you can set it so that you can trigger a requeue after a certain amount of time. If you go create a resource outside the cluster or something, it's going to take 5-10 minutes and you don't want to sit there looping, you can just use the requeue after plugin, and then the operator will come back to it in a couple minutes. And we also support the Kate status module, which allows you to set the status of a resource. And in terms of current work that we're looking at for the Ansible operator and the util plugins, we are currently working on doing more specific metrics.
Your audio cut out for just a second there. What is
okay,
the
cool.
Ansible
Cuts out
Operator
every time we get
SDK
a
working on?
notification. Yeah. So the Ansible Operator Sdk, what we're working on right now is basically broader integration with metrics, emitting metrics, responding to metrics that will make it easier to write. I think what it's called level 4 and 5 operators, which are basically operators that are able to report the health of their application in real time and sort of respond to the health of their application for self-healing, auto scale up, scale down, stuff like that. Yeah, Austin will pull up the maturity model. I don't know if we really want to go into a deep explanation of that right now, but
No,
basically
I
they
just wanted to show
talk
it
about
exists.
seven levels. Yeah, there you go. So level 4 and level 5, that's deep insights and autopilot. And those are primarily enabled through support for emitting metrics in level 4 and responding to metrics level 5. And so we're working on modules to allow you to emit metrics, and then we're starting to look into how to automatically and easily trigger your operator based on metrics events in the cluster. And that's kind of the current short-term roadmap. Real quick.
Very cool. Who wants to talk about Kubernetes.core?
Mike Graves.
Yeah, I can handle that. So I guess I'll just a brief description of what the Kubernetes.core collection is. It's an Ansible collection for just sort of generally working with Kubernetes, primarily around creating, updating, deleting resources, things of that nature. It also includes support for Helm, and the Ansible operators, I believe, depend pretty heavily upon the Kubernetes.core collection. So what we are working on now, most of the work right now we're doing is a refactor of various parts of the collection. One of the primary goals that we want to accomplish with this refactor is to increase our unit test coverage, because we have very little right now. And so we are looking to sort of refactor to make it easier to write unit tests. And generally just make some parts of working with that code base a little bit easier to do, so that we can excuse me, support more easily support newer features that are coming out in Kubernetes in ways that are sort of backwards compatible, so that we can still be able to support older versions while providing access to new features. So most of the work is the refactoring. We do have a few new things that we are hoping to add in the near future. So we have a new module, a Kate's taint module, which makes it easy to add and remove taints from nodes. And then also we have a PR up for adding support for server-side apply, which we have just been waiting on a new release of the Kubernetes client that we added support to for that. I believe that just got released a few weeks ago. So hopefully we can get the server-side apply added to the collection soon. So that's mostly what we're doing right now.
Does anyone
Yeah, and
have
if I-
any questions about these?
Could I add just a couple other just quick things for people that maybe haven't kept up on this? Well, this started off life as the community.kubernetes, and this was had all come strictly from the from community contributions, and then we formed a group within Red Hat to really put some effort behind it. And we brought Mike in to work on this and developed it into what is Kubernetes.core, and made a number of I think really great changes and work to make it more cohesive. A lot of the stuff that had come in from different contributors in a very uncoordinated fashion. So now it's a lot more coordinated and works as more of a base model for other or base collection for other collections out there. So we went through some refactoring even then. And one of the more significant things that we did was that before it relied on the OpenShift client, which was wonderful, but it also brought in OpenShift functionality. Mike and team worked on it to separate it out, that we're now based strictly on the Kubernetes, official Kubernetes client. And then we removed any OpenShift specific functionality into its own collection that depends on this one. So that was something else that changed more recently. I think some of the versions of the Operator SDK or the Ansible Operator SDK people are out there still use community.kubernetes. This Kubernetes.core collection is the evolution of that, and has a lot of good new stuff in it. So I really encourage people to check it out and go through a bit of the porting there. So, all right.
Yeah, and for what it's worth, the new versions of Operator SDK install both collections, community.kubernetes and kubernetes.core. And so nothing will break. You should just be able to swap them out as a drop-in replacement for the most part. So hopefully we've made it painless.
Yes.
Does anyone have questions about the components? I'm leaving a slightly awkwardly long silence just to encourage shy questions.
People to find their mute button, unmute button.
Got a quick question on server-side apply. Do you have any testing around it? Just because I know the current state of the fake clients doesn't currently support the SSA patch types.
Any testing that we have in the Kubernetes collection for server-side apply is going to be end-to-end testing, and probably won't be. My guess is we wouldn't be able to really get into that level of detail. The PR, I have not looked at the PR in a month or two, but as I recall, it's mostly just sort of adding a new property to the K8s module that lets you just lets you use the server-side apply when you're making the change. So I think that probably what our initial release will just sort of is going to be to see how people are using it and how they want to use it. We have not put a whole bunch of work into the functionality yet. So I think once it's out there, we'd like to sort of get a better sense of the use cases around how people are using or want to use server-side apply in the collection. And then we can sort of build out more functionality around that.
Cool, thank you.
I added the server-side apply to the PRs and issues. I don't think we're going to have time to get to the PRs and issues today, but this in the future, we're going to have this area here to highlight important ones that might need more eyes, or even if you're past the review stage and people just want to be up on the important changes, this is a good place to highlight that. Okay, any other questions about the components? All right. So what would we like to see next? What are the things that could be better in these projects?
That's an open-ended question I put out there that in a way that question should be out there for every meeting we do like this for anyone. If you're working with this and you have ideas or things that you find that could be better, this is the forum to raise them and discuss how we could dress them better to make this more easier and more frictionless to create operators. I mean, that's the one key advantage. And I'm going to talk a little bit like a product manager here because I am, but to the operator SDK over other forms is that you get that abstraction layer to do stuff more quickly and without having to know more of the internals and not blow your foot off to get something done. Will the Ansible Operator SDK ever be as fast as Go or allow you that fine grain control? No, it won't. And if that's what you need, then you should look at that or the Java one. But when it comes to just getting something done, especially if you don't have those type of programming skills, this is what we want to address. Those are the use cases that we want this to be there for.
I also find the Ansible-based operators to be quite a bit more readable. And yes, I think we all would agree here that readability counts.
Yes.
So yeah, on this topic, I just wanted to mention, feel free to be creative and share all kinds of bad ideas.
Yeah.
We want to hear everything.
Yes. Yeah. Or if there's something that's like, this is ugly and this is driving me crazy having to do it this way, that we could take a look at it and see, oh, is there something we could add that would make that particular use case easier?
So we're going to
more
port
readable
to Java. Is that a good idea? Sorry.
We're going to do what?
Port Ansible to Java. Sorry.
Oh, there we go.
It's an idea.
Yes.
I'll
Maybe we
put it
can
out there to engineering.
Yeah, since we don't have that much time left, maybe we can let people chew on this one.
Yes.
Until the next meeting, if you want, you can add it as a comment under there, and we'll add it as a topic to discuss at the next meeting as well. So
yeah, I'll create the agenda for the next meeting as soon as this one's done.
Awesome.
So get that beefed up and ready to go. All right, Tim, the question on everyone's mind: how do I get Ansible swag?
Oh, that's a great question. You can ping me and I can see what I can get to you. Otherwise, the best place is to always hit us up at events, but I know those aren't happening. And I have depleted my own personal store of that stuff. But yeah, if anyone reaches out to me directly, I can see what I can try and arrange. That's an honest answer.
Very good.
So basically, bother Tim or really save up that enthusiasm for the next in-person event we have.
Yes.
You can bother me and Fabian too, and we'll bother Tim.
Yeah,
whatever's easiest. All right. We've got a question here of how can I watch for changes in objects my CRs don't own? I think that's appropriate for this venue.
So I asked that. It's basically like in the Golang controller runtime libraries, you have things like in-queue request for object and in-queue request for owner, etc. I was kind of hoping there was something equivalent within Ansible Operator.
Yeah. So you can set up any resource under your primary watches in your watches.yaml. So you could watch for pods, and I think you can also put a label selector filter on that as well. So you could get a filtered set of events of a specific resource type. If you're talking about doing more dynamically, during your reconciliation, choosing a resource to watch, I don't know that there's an easy way to do that right now. But it is totally possible that's something that we could add in the Operator SDK through the like as a module in the Operator SDK Ansible util. So I would say look at the primary watches with filters option first, and if that doesn't work, then yeah, that's probably a feature request to Operator SDK or Operator SDK Ansible util.
If you have a way of watching those objects, but that watches too many objects, we also have a blacklist feature. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what we're doing already is using the watches and then a label selector. I was just hoping there was some other rabbit hole I could go down to tailor some of these watch events a bit more dynamically.
Yeah, not currently, but we're definitely open to adding it. So I guess once we have the mailing list, it'd be a good discussion for there. And also feel free to file a feature request that highlights where the current stuff is falling short for you.
Yeah.
All right. So we definitely don't have time to go through the queries and PRs, but in the future, these are the 3 repos that we'll be looking at if we do triage in these meetings. So we'll start with those next time. And do we have anything else, or do we want to close 5 minutes early?
I guess we do have that one issue, how to diagnose the weird thing where Kindi takes long to reconcile, but I don't know that we have enough time to go into that. But if anybody who's familiar with Ansible Runner or that side of things wants to take a peek at that issue, it'd be helpful. Basically, what we're saying is, for some reason, when people are running their operators only on Kindi, it's taking 10 minutes to hit the first reconciliation, and it seems like there's an Ansible Runner process that's running already. It's just there's nothing happening for a while. I'm kind of, and it doesn't show up in other cluster types, and it's not showing up in our tests on Kindi. So I don't know if any that could possibly sound like something that makes sense to anybody, but if it does, then I would definitely appreciate a peek at that issue.
Yeah, we don't have a spooky label, but we should.
Yeah, it's a pretty spooky one to me. Is it said Kindi or kind? I say Kindi, but I don't really speak out loud about it much to people. So
yeah,
I'm sure plenty of people say kind, and also a bunch of other stuff. It's like a cube cuddle.
I try not to say Kindi's name out loud.
Yeah. Who shall not be named.
Well, folks, I think that brings us to the end. Thanks everyone for coming. I think this was a really strong first showing. Really appreciate it. And we will see you next time. And in the meantime, I will create this mailing list and send an announcement to the larger operator framework mailing list. So make sure you're subscribed to that and you'll get the announcement. Other than that, feel free to hit us up in between, and we will see you next time.
All right, awesome. Thanks, Austin. Great work guiding us through that naming thing. I can't believe the meeting didn't end on that topic.
Yes. Badge of honor.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, usually naming takes like weeks.
Yeah, no. All right. Well, great. Thanks, everyone. It's been great. Thanks, Austin. Yeah. Bye.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Thank you all.